Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we have an unboxing and a review of the Witch's Cat Tarot. This deck was sent in by a subscriber, so thank you very much. They wanted me to know that they are enjoying the content and they specifically wanted to see me unbox and review this deck. And before we jump in, I just want to say thank you all of you for being here. It really does mean a lot. Every view, every like, every subscribe, every time you share one of my videos, it helps out tremendously. With that being said, let's jump in. As we can see, this is the Witch's Cat Tarot. It says secrets, guidance, and spells from our feline familiars. This is by Tree Carr, illustrated by Sonia Pearl. On the back of the box, it says, discover the 78 classic tarot archetypes as you've never seen them before, as cute witchy cats. Symbols of magic, female empowerment, and luck. These feline familiars are ready to share their sacred knowledge, intuitive prowess, and perfect sixth sense. Full of cat puns, witchy spells, and magical illustrations. This deck encourages you to perk up those ears, stretch out your paws, and twitch those whiskers to explore the tarot like a curious cat. This comes in your classic two-part construction. Inside we have the guidebook and the cards. Let's take a look at the guidebook. Inside we have the Witch's Cat Tarot. Here we have a table of contents, and if you are familiar with tarot, you can see here that the major arcana have been renamed. Of course, like the back of the box said, full of cats and cat puns. For example, we have the bold kitty, the court cat, lunar and solar cats, and the cave cat, just to name a few. On the next page, we have the minor arcana. And these have also been renamed. So we have the paws, the claws, the tails, and the whiskers. This page here tells you a little bit about the changes. So we have the Fool is the bold kitty, the High Priestess is the high feline. The minor arcana have been transformed. So instead of pentacles, we have paws. Instead of cups, we have whiskers. Swords are claws, and the wands are the tails. And we have the major arcana. So it does give you these 2 pages for every card. As you can see here, we have the title of the card, Bold Kitty, a meaning, a message, some keywords, astrology, numerology, and again, it tells you about the card. And since this is the Witch's Cat Tarot, there's also a spell that goes along with each card. For the minor arcana, it gives you an introduction into that suit. And again, for each card, it has a meaning, a message, keyword. This one has an element and a numerology associated with it as well. It does that for the rest of the cards. Here we have the claws, and it goes on, tails, and whiskers. There are no spreads. There's just a little bit of information about the author and the illustrator in the back of the book. So that was the book. Now let's take a look at the cards. My first impression, this is a very cute deck. It is very animated. I did a quick little peek at the cards just to see what I was getting myself into. And I will say they are quite cute. Let's take a look at the cards, and I think we're in for a treat. So of course, like with any tarot deck, we start off with the 0 card, typically the Fool. Here it is, the Bold Kitty. Here we have the Magic Cat, the High Feline, Goddess Cat, Chief Cat. Oh, look at those cheeks. Here we have Sacred Cat, the kittens. That is absolutely adorable. Here we have Chariot Cat, Catnip, very cute. Here we have Cave Cat. Very dark and ominous. Here we have the Wheel of Feline. Round and round it goes. Where it stops, who knows? Here we have the court cat. Cat nap. That is very clever. 9 lives. That is beautiful. Here we have Zen cat. Very happy. Very at peace, I would say. Here we have devil cat with the wings and the fire and the little horns. I know it's devil cat, but it is adorable. The cat tower. Cosmic cat. If it were me, just saying, I would have called it Cosmic Kitty. Here's the lunar cat and the solar cat. Here we have Ascension cat, definitely going on a trip. And of course we have the window perch. So that was the major arcana. Now let's take a look at the first suit of the minor. The suit of paws, and we start off with the ace of paws. Here we have the 2 of paws, the 3 of paws, very cute, the 4 of paws, the 5 of paws, 6 of paws, here is a 7 of paws, the 8 of paws, very witchy indeed, the 9 of paws, and the 10 of paws. Finishing up the suit of paws, we have our court cards. We have the apprentice of paws, the witch of paws, the sage of paws, and of course this wouldn't be a witch deck without the crone of paws. And now we jump into our next suit, which is the suit of claws, and of course we have the ace of claws, chasing a feather, the 2 of claws. It's almost like they're meditating and getting ready for something. Quite adorable. The 3 of claws. This is your typical 3 of swords card. My favorite card in most decks that I have. It does not disappoint. Here we have the 4 of claws. The 5 of claws. Do not mess with Kitty. 6 of claws. 7 of claws. Naughty, naughty Kitty. The 8 of claws. 9 of claws. I don't know about you, but those look like some happy, happy ghosts. And of course, the 10 of claws. I love this so much. It is perfect for what it is. I love it. And here we have the apprentice of claws, the witch of claws, the crone of claws, and the sage of claws. Now we come into the suit of tails. This is your typical suit of wands. As you can see here, very beautiful. The 2 of tails, the 3 of tails. Here's the 4 of tails, very happy. The 5 of tails, very chaotic. It's like a classic cartoon when they start fighting. It's just a little dust cloud. The 6 of tails, very beautiful. 7 of tails, that's funny. The 8 of tails, of course, it's just a witch tarot, so they're all riding their brooms somewhere. The 9 of tails. The 10 of tails. Here we have the apprentice of tails. The witch of tails. The crone of tails. And the sage of tails. And finally, we're at the suit of whiskers. So we have our ace of whiskers, the 2 of whiskers, the 3 of whiskers, 4 of whiskers. Here's the 5 of whiskers. He looks so sad and scared at the same time. The 6 of whiskers, 7 of whiskers, 8 of whiskers. I like this card. I don't know why. I like this card. The 9 of whiskers, the 10 of whiskers, the apprentice of whiskers, the witch of whiskers, the crone of whiskers, and lastly, the sage of whiskers. So those were the cards. Now let's take a look at how the deck feels in the hand. Right off, it is very, very reflective. I had to change the way my light is. I think you noticed during most of the video there was a little bit of glare up top. That is just, they're really reflective. Back of the cards, same thing. Very cute design though. Double cat there. Reversible. Very, very cute. The cards are a little bit wider than a typical tarot card and just a little bit shorter. But overall, it is a great size. It feels great in the hands. Overhand, not too bad. Again, new deck. I haven't really shuffled or anything. So it still has the coating from the factory or whatever they do to these cards. But not too bad with the overhand. Let's see how it does with the ripple shuffle. Pretty good. Slides well together. Overall, not too bad. Again, feels good in the hand. A little bit wider, so if you do have smaller hands, might be a little difficult. Very shiny, reflective. If you're not recording videos like I am, you're going to be just fine in your everyday usage of this deck. Not a problem at all. As we saw in the beginning, they have changed some of the cards. Of course, they changed the majors and the minors. But one thing to notice, these are all the suit of paws. As you notice, they all have the same coloration and the same cat design throughout. That makes it a little bit easier to remember that this is typically the suit of pentacles. In a typical deck, the suit of pentacles is about, it's a grounded, it's earth and mother nature, and here it's green. A lot of greenery in this suit. It makes it easier to remember that these are typically your suit of pentacles, and here there are paws. Also P and P, very easy. Here we have the suit of claws, and again, very similar to here. They all have the same coloration, the same little black cat in the background, very cute and adorable. And the suit of claws is going to be your suit of swords in a typical tarot deck. A little bit hard to remember, but if you just pay attention to the details, the cards, what they're doing, you can pick that up very easily. I would say claws scratch, and you can get scratched by a sword. That's one way to do it. Word association is very helpful. Here we have the suit of tails. And this one is very easy to tell what it is. This is your typical suit of wands. Orange, fire. The suit of wands is associated with fire. Very easy to put two and two together in this one. And lastly, we have the suit of whiskers. And again, these have that blue color in the background. A lot of the cards did have aquatic themes. Fish, mermaid tails, water and things. Water is associated with the suit of cups. Very easy to remember. Overall, I would say this is a great deck if you're into this theme, if you're into kitties, maybe a little bit of witchcraft, or just the cuteness overall. If you're like me and you're going to this deck and you're just thinking this is a very, very cute deck, go ahead, get it. Get yourself a copy. However, if you are new to tarot and this is your first tarot deck, yes, you will learn what these cards mean if you go through the book. But when you look at a typical tarot deck with your typical pentacles and swords and cups and wands, you might get a little bit confused. But if this is something that you're really passionate about and you want to get into, add it to your collection. You're not going to regret it. It is cute. I think this is great. Maybe, I don't know why I was getting fall vibes from these cards. A lot of these cards have very similar colors throughout each card. So for example, the Sage of Whiskers, the Sage of Tails, and the Sage of Claws all have very similar looks. And something about them just said fall. If you made it this far into the video, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. I mean that. I cannot say enough. Thank you so much. Again, this deck was sent in by a subscriber. I am really grateful, appreciate it. If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a like. If you're not subscribed already, hit the subscribe button. Share this with someone that you think might really enjoy this deck. Even if they're not into tarot, they can just look at the cards. I think the images themselves are really creative and they're really wonderful to look at. I'm sure they were gonna have a great time watching this video, as much fun as I had recording this. So again, one more time, thank you so much, and I will see you next time.